Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Catching!
I'm Mr. Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me is none other than NJ.
What's up?
And if you're wondering why I'm wearing the same shirt for like the 50th Q&A in a row, well, I bloody well like this shirt because it's got an England flag on it, and I'm very patriotic. I really am, NJ. I'm very, very patriotic.
I do like that shirt. If you didn't have it, I'd make it a circle neck, not a V-neck. You know, Mr. Parkin.
Oh, shut up, NJ. You'd wear a turtleneck any day of the week, you weirdo.
Yeah. And the thing is, I've got a great idea for this Q&A.
Oh God.
I want to do something different.
Oh God.
I want to, we've got a screen in front of us. I think we should ask the question to ourselves and then answer them, because we have to answer the questions to elaborate on our opinion on what's been asked.
That's a great idea. It's not like we ever ask the questions off the screen and answer them.
Nope.
Never ever do that, even though it's called a Q&A and you think we would. How did we not pick up on this for the first 197 Q&As?
Well, let's do it in this Q&A.
Right, let's do it in this Q&A. If you have any questions, please let us know down in the comments section below so we can continue this time-honoured tradition of what we've never done for the last 997 Q&As. Renegade Man 83. If you are Vince McMahon, how are you going to make the fans, at least 85%, cheer and get behind Roman Reigns?
Easy. I'll say this. My opinion is keep him as the Roman Reigns. He was in the Shield, the dominant, because people seem to, yeah, they saw the Superman booking, but at the same time, the jokey Reigns didn't work, but the serious Reigns that we grew to see, fans were liking more.
It's pretty easy. You make him a badass. You make him do badass stuff. You keep him the fuck away from Daniel Bryan, and that pretty much sums it up. You just make him a badass, you don't have him talk too much, and whenever he does talk, it's short and to the point. You know, maybe a minute promo and believe in that, motherfuckers, that kind of thing. That's all you really need to do, and I think a lot of fans quite like a badass, so they'll probably end up getting behind him.
They do.
Are you a fan of Ricochet? He now goes by the name of Prince Puma and Lucha Underground. I've seen Ricochet, or Prince Puma as he's called in Lucha Underground. Typical internet, typical indie guy. He's a good wrestler, but what else is there?
I cannot give too much of an opinion because I didn't really watch too much of it because I was expecting the high flyery stuff.
Well, he is a high flyer, but you know, you just there's not enough in the show. Yeah. It's just you wouldn't make it in WWE. Just put it that way. Toby Pierce. Do you think the internet is ruining the WWE? Oh, what a fantastic question. Have you done this so that we can rag on the internet fans? I don't know. Is the internet... I mean, before the internet came in, WWE pretty much had control over the crowd and the way they saw wrestling, kayfabe. You never really had backstage stories going out. You didn't hear about the characters doing interviews and... You know, and it does seem funny, doesn't it, that the more the internet has been made accessible to the public, etc., the less business WWE and, you know, other things such as DVDs and CDs, etc., have been doing. I mean, there is quite a trend there, really, isn't there?
I think the internet, of course, was going to impact every company there is. Music, like Mr. Park said.
But you've got to adapt.
Stuff. And I think the biggest thing that the internet does against wrestling companies is spoilers. When they do stuff that doesn't get spoiled, it's a surprise, I think more of that would help the WWE in the long run instead of doing everything that gets picked up by the internet.
I don't necessarily think the internet is ruining the WWE. I mean, increasing opportunities in social networking, using Twitter, and even a couple, you know, even like Vine and, you know, stuff like that. You know, so that's good, I think, in my opinion, for fans, etc., getting their opinion across and stuff. But I think as much as people may say the internet is ruining the WWE, is ruining the world, well, people got to adapt. What happened with Blockbuster when they didn't adapt to the fact that the internet was taking over, you know, sales and stuff like that? They didn't adapt, and what happened to Blockbuster? They went Blockbuster. And stuff like Netflix and stuff fried because they developed to the fact that the internet needed a streaming service online.
But I think the biggest damaging is spoilers. I'm one of the people that hate spoilers because I think that is one of the damaging things. But other than that, yes, they do the hashtaggy stuff. They do, here's their Twitter name and stuff. But I think it's the spoilers that are mainly internet based that's ruining the WWE.
Here we go. Time for some creativity. If you could make a dream pay-per-view with 9 of the best WWE matches.
Oh
God. Right. So
bring back TLC, but use probably you got to use past matches or
no, just a dream pay-per-view. Well, I think past matches, but we'll do categories here. We'll say let's start off with a tag match. TLC at WrestleMania 17. A middle of the card 5-star classic match.
Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Come on, are you kidding me? I'd probably go with Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 19. There are other, what would you go for the big attraction match that's going to draw every fan in?
Mick Foley, Triple H.
Mick Foley, Triple H. I'd probably go Hogan, Austin. I know that never happened, but that would definitely draw asses to the seats. Semi-main event. Maybe the Undertaker's streak. What would we do there? Undertaker versus Sting?
I'm not sure if we use past matches or...
I'd say a mixture of both.Ck it. It's our Q&A. We do what we want.
Taking Sting, if they can do one more match or whatever.
What about an IC title match? Like Randy Savage versus someone from the modern, like a Randy Orton or something for the IC title. I don't know. If it's a dream pay-per-view, fine. If it's 9 of the best matches, do Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. Because that was damn good.
Opener to get the crowd going.
Opener to get the crowd going. Probably a Money in the Bank match. Maybe the first one at WrestleMania 21.
That one.
That was definitely a good crowd opener. Maybe a Cruiserweight match. Think of anything for a Cruiserweight match?
Bring back Ray. If we're using past matches, I'll use a Ray and Eddie.
Yeah, Ray and Eddie. I mean, I know Eddie's dead. Bless his cotton socks. But that would definitely be a good Cruiserweight match. What about a women's match?
In the past, I liked many of Lita's matches.
Nikki versus Trish was a good one at WrestleMania 22.
A classic. I liked Laycool versus Divas of Doom in that tables match, which was a personal favourite. Melina versus Beth Phoenix. I enjoyed that.
What other? Maybe a Brock Lesnar match. Lesnar versus who we've never seen him face before.
And he's not in the main event.
And he's not. When you do a dream match, you can have bigger main events than Brock Lesnar.
Okay, it's not WrestleMania. I was going to say against The Rock. Bigger
Brock Lesnar versus Rock. I'll take that. There we go. There's a few. If you can think of others, let us know in the comment section. Do you think the Attitude Era was overrated? It's hard for me to say because I never really lived it. So I never really knew what it was like. I imagine when you were a fan at the time and you were switching between Nitro and Raw, and it was such a hot time for the business, and you had ECW, that it was probably a great time to be a wrestling fan, purely because there was so much buzz about the business. You cannot argue that during the Attitude Era, WWE just hit peaks that it was never going to hit before. So I'm not sure you could call it overrated. Maybe you could call it overrated in the sense that people use it so much as a comparison piece to today's product, and you can't really do that because times have changed so much since.
I've seen a few YouTube videos of people trying to defend the PG era and call the Attitude Era overrated to try and move us past that. But no, I think the Attitude Era, the WWF pushed themselves to the limits. The wrestlers were there because they wanted to be there. The WWE did all these different storylines to attract different fans.
Characters as well.
Yeah, so I think the Attitude Era gave fans a variety compared to what happens now, which is more based around what the boss wants.
And not to mention the fact that you had competition. If you didn't like WWE, you could have ECW.
There's TNA.
If you don't, yeah, fucking right. You can fuck off there, mate. And if you didn't like ECW or WWE, you could watch WCW. Not just that, but for the wrestlers themselves. If you couldn't make it in WWE, you could try and make it in WCW. If you didn't make it in WCW, you could try and make it to ECW. They were taking many people there, and as long as you were on a low wage and didn't want to spend too much money out of Paul Heyman's checkbook, they would have fucking taken you. So it was better for the wrestler. It was better for business. It was better for the wrestlers involved. There was better talents. It's just all in all, I'm not sure. There are many arguments, and you could say it was overrated. I, however, don't think it was overrated from a general perspective. No. Bear and Blade 236. How bad are the current rights for the show, especially after this year's Royal Rumble? Okay, here's a big topic. The Royal Rumble was pretty bad. I mean, I watched it. It's the Royal Rumble. You know, to eliminate Daniel Bryan as early as possible. Okay, I understand why they did it, but why have him in the Rumble? That's mistake number one. Mistake number 2 is why the fuck are Big Show and Kane lasting until the final 2, and not just that, but dumping people out like Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, and Bray Wyatt like they're trash. And and the way Roman Reigns won it. I mean, I don't mind Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. I think he should have won the Rumble. He was the only real guy that I felt could have gone on to main event WrestleMania against the Brock Lesnar. But the way they booked that Rumble just basically set this guy up for failure, in my opinion. It's the writer's fault.
And the weakening, this one's been used in many pay-per-views and many years, is predictability. The wrestlers who were coming into the final, you could see who was going to win. They weren't like, oh, there's a good variety of winners there.
I mean, it's not like you had Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns in the final 2 when you were thinking, do you know what? I don't know who's going to be winning this one, is it? It was just, well, you saw Big Show and Kane and Roman Reigns, and you thought, well, Big Show and Kane aren't going to the main event of WrestleMania, are they? So that's fucking obvious. Even with Rusev coming in. Well, I wonder if Rusev's going to main event WrestleMania.
Horrible.
But saying that, though, I mean, in defense of the writers, I mean, what they did there was indefendable, in my opinion. But just put yourself in the writer's shoes. You're traveling every week. You've got to come up with creative ideas for Raw, SmackDown. You've got to come up with creative ideas for Superstars, for the pay-per-views, etc. God, you must get burnt out doing that. Who the hell writes for WWE? Whoever wants to. I do not bloody know.
To be honest, I cannot give that because it's not been a problem in the past. The WWE want the cheaper option, it seems like. And many people would agree with that. They've gone down a cheaper route, and now the writers, you can tell the difference. But following the Rumble, yes, the writing hasn't seemed to pick up. Only a few hints, but obviously the hints die out, and it's a shame because it's the WrestleMania period, and this is one of the WrestleManias I don't feel.
And you really got to ask the question at the end of the day that, is it the writers or is it the leadership that the writers are under in Vince McMahon or Stephanie McMahon? I mean, it's something you could argue all day, but we're not gonna do that. Jibri Bell, if a famous wrestler was to train you both, who would you like that wrestler to be, and what would be your theme music? I have a good idea what you'd want to get trained by, NJ.
Billy DeMott.
Bill DeMott. No.
Yeah, I could do with the whole abuse thing that he gives people.
Do you know what?
Disgusting.
Do you know what? I'm a dirty cockroach, and I definitely need toughening up. So why not racially abuse me? Why not beat me to death? I'm not going to go into all that because, in my opinion, it's all allegations, and I just don't want to talk about that.
In all seriousness, I think there's many people who've been great at training, but yes, I could say Triple H through tactics, but no.
I thought you were going to say Triple H.
I could say Kane because of his abusive, dominant ways, his monstrous X ways,
that was number
but
2.
No. Shawn Michaels. I liked his in-ring style, I liked his performance, and how he sold the matches he was in.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels is a good one, I'll give you that. For me, though, I'm trying to go a bit old school on this one. I'd like to have been trained by Bruno Sammartino, the guy who main evented Madison Square Garden like 200 fucking times in the 70s. I imagine how much that guy could teach you in the wrestling business. Imagine how much he could teach you about telling a story in the ring and playing a crowd and stuff like that. I mean, I know it's not necessarily that out there today, but imagine Bruno Sammartino training you. How much of an honour that would be. What about theme tune, though? I mean, for me, it would have to be Oasis. I'd probably say Wonderwall, because that's the most famous Oasis song, and I know that people are definitely going to know that song.
Price Tag.
Is that a band or the name of the song? I don't know.
Price Tag by Jessie J. Not really. Again, this came thrown at me, so I had to be a bit comical there, but to be honest, it could be a Metallica song. I could steal Triple H's idea and go with the Motorhead song. But to be honest, I haven't really thought about this to give you a straight answer, so I'm not going to suddenly try and pull ones out of my head. I can go with Master of the Puppets. There we go.
Yeah, Wiz Khalifa. I actually heard a song on the radio that my 14-year-old niece listens to, and the chorus, right, get this, goes something along the lines of, "These hoes ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal," and I'm just like, yeah. Anyway, Heisenberg 717. That just shows the shit state music is in nowadays, doesn't it? Now that Bray Wyatt is starting to build his momentum back up, and with Brock Lesnar possibly leaving, which would leave WWE with very few top heels, do you see him being WWE World Heavyweight Champion at some point in 2015? If Bray Wyatt built himself up, yeah, if they continue the momentum from last year, which they never did, then yeah, I could have seen him being a top heel in the company. But Now, I think that role is probably going to go to Seth Rollins, if anyone.
Bray Wyatt's momentum. The only reason they're doing this from the Dean Ambrose feud to now is for The Undertaker. I don't think the WWE, if it weren't for that Taker idea, were going to push Bray Wyatt that strong, that suddenly, if it weren't for the Taker idea. I don't. As for top heel, yes, I think with his character and the way he would control the audience and get under his opponent's skin, could have definitely worked and could possibly still happen to possibly push him to be a champion. 16?
As a character, yes, but with his momentum, no. Renegade Man 83. Do you think fans are hypocrites, or do you believe the customer is always right? I think that whole customer is always right thing really only applies to certain aspects of business and certain parts of business, like, for example, in like a restaurant. I think that kind of thing means the customer is always right. But the thing is of WWE is, who do you appeal to? You try and appeal to the most people you can, and you know, whatever you do, if you appeal to, let's say you appeal to the casual fans that seem to really like John Cena, then you're just going to piss off internet fans that really don't like John Cena and are tired of him getting pushed. You see his merchandise figures. You know, WWE may have these numbers and think, well, you know, he's still our biggest merchandise seller. He still draws the most ratings, so we should push him in that spot. You know, it's more of a question really to me is, are WWE willing to move forward with the times and try and create some new stars for the future of the company? Or are they going to forever sit on past names, which is never going to be able to promote their business any more forward than it is now?
The thing with my opinion, I've said this before, is if they took a year to stop overly concentrating on the money makers, yes, it might affect them that year, but if that year eventually does pay off by the end, the future will look different for them. So number one, I think that's one way of looking at it. And the other thing is, with the fact of John Cena and stuff, I think it's like Austin's podcast. He basically said, listen to the fans. The fans are shouting at you week after week after week. Apart from the Daniel Bryan stuff, which I think, obviously, he's had moments in the sun. And yes, he probably should still be at the main event, but he should be looking at the other wrestlers who the fans are cheering for and try and work more there.
I mean, it really does beg the question, is it the names within the WWE that are selling, or is it the WWE brand name itself? Just a room for thought there, really. People say that WWE likes to shove Roman Reigns down our throats, but do you agree that internet fans like to shove Daniel Bryan down our throats? Shall we really answer this question?
Yep.
It's very obvious. Yep. Yes, and to a degree I can understand why. I mean, when he had all the momentum going into WrestleMania 30, yeah, I could understand why people really wanted Daniel Bryan. Yes. But now, it's like the guy doesn't win a match, the guy doesn't main event and win a WrestleMania, and all of a sudden it's, oh, WWE, how can you do it? But the thing is, Daniel Bryan's reactions lately haven't exactly been great, have they?
Daniel Bryan is someone different, and yes, there was times when Rock and Austin main evented and went up and did pay-per-views. So putting Daniel Bryan to be someone who does pay-per-view makes some fans happy, but I think with Daniel Bryan's recent injury, to rebuild him again, shall we say, and concentrate on the likes of Roman Reigns, who is one of Vince's tops right now. But now it's, I guess, an idea, and then eventually have Daniel Bryan where fans want him.
Questions for NJ from Renegade Man 83. What is your favourite wrestling shirt/t-shirt that you own that you like to wear?
Again, I've started to sell some of them because I didn't really wear them, but the ones I wear on a continuous basis are my Triple H ones, the CM Punk with the two fists, and it's also the Edge shirt with the sex and stuff going on because it's a bit, you know, out there.
It's a bit edgy.
Oh, yes, it is.
You're trying to give off an edgy image, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good luck with that one. I've been trying to give off an edgy image for years and it hasn't bloody been working. Maybe it's something to do with the fact that I always wear V-necks. Maybe V-necks just aren't edgy enough for some people. I don't really know. And do you plan on buying any of the NXT Superstar T-shirts?
Yep. Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Z there, yep.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that would actually be a pretty good gimmick. Sami Zayn. But no, I mean, where would you get them from? The WWE website? eBay? Because I've wanted to buy some. But I don't want to buy it from WWE.com because last time I did it ended up costing me twice as much.
The answer is obvious, and the WWE should actually listen to this because here's a code to get cheaper deals. Go to eBay, people. I'm sorry, WWE, but eBay is, as it has been for the last many years, the future.
I must admit, I've been very tempted to buy some NXT Superstar T-shirts, but lately they've only been available in the WWE.com shop. So I'm going to wait until they come out on. eBay and then buy some because I'm very, very invested in the NXT product, as you know, and I would like to be able to put some money in the way of NXT, even though essentially we're going to WWE, and it means I'm giving money to WWE. Oh, shoot me. Anyway, that's been it for another Q&A with me, Mr. Parkin, and NJ. Just because I know you guys love to hear that. And so prepare for the Q&A next week, which is the one before WrestleMania.
I'm from the British fist sitting right here.
We're Italian now.
You know what? Goodbye, people.
Hey, Tony, what are you doing, Tony? The Godfather. I'm Tony. Hey, Tony.
Taking the piss.
Tony, you need...
That's Italian.